Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Bulgarian workout. And so today, it's a pretty normal day for me. One thing I increased was the trap bar deadlifts for their volume. I did a little more weight, but I dropped a set today, and we'll get to that in a minute. All right, you guys saw the squat earlier. Squat felt good. The squat didn't really feel heavy. Again, unlike yesterday, my hips are feeling a little better today. Hips are feeling a little better today, and it's because I didn't deadlift yesterday. So the squat felt pretty good, although my quads were really throbbing. Now, one thing I want to point out here, I get a bunch of people in here, and you get people arguing, and I know multiple coaches who look at it and they think my squat's acceptable, multiple powerlifting coaches, but you get all these noobs who come in who really don't understand anything about low bar versus high bar or anything else, and they're like, your squat's a good morning. Guys, a good morning, your lower back angle determines that. When we talk about the Lane Norton squat, you guys notice his head stays up and his shoulders stay up, his chest stays up, but his lower back rounds completely over to where it's almost parallel with the floor, right? Watch my lower back. My lower back doesn't go below 45 degrees. In other words, that rounding you're seeing is me just building a shelf with my scapula and looking down slightly. It has nothing to do with my lower back. My lower back is staying at 45 degrees or higher. Like you saw where I unracked it right there, that's about where it goes to. Like watch me come down on this warm up, right? Watch. Here I come up, see my back, lower back stays at 45. That's just called hip drive, guys. That's hip drive. It's not a big deal. There are plenty of guys who squat 700 pounds raw who do something very similar when you watch them. It's really common, who do not have injured backs. And yeah, the only place I feel the squat is in my quads. Like after this 455, you see me kind of kick my legs out because my quads are throbbing. I don't feel it in my back. I don't feel it in my glutes. The only place I feel a squat is in my quads, even with low bar. It just is what it is because they're my weak link. My back can handle all this fine. I can go a hell of a lot heavier with my back. My quads can't move, 100 pounds more right now. My back would be no problem. I mean, I'm dead used to deadlifting 100 pounds more than this. So it's not really a big deal. So you need to understand the difference, though. Learn how to squat, guys, before you critique other people's squats. That's all I'm saying. Bench press, I did my 320 today. It felt a little heavy, but my pecs were a little sore today. I don't know why, they just are. Maybe it was that tiny PR on the strict press yesterday. Could be. But yeah, my pecs and my front delts are aching a little bit, but that's okay. I still got my weight. I'm hitting my 320, and it wasn't that long ago. Actually, when I started this, my daily minimum was 305. So like I said, if I could add 5 pounds every month to my daily minimum, and I'm not even going to bank on that, I would be ecstatic. If I could do that by the end of the year, every month, that's like another 30, 35 pounds to my daily minimum. To be benching 350 plus 6 days a week, yeah, I'd take that. I'd take that, especially since I'm not even really that wide. Still kind of medium grip, almost close grip right now. I'd be happy with that. So we're just going to play it by ear and move forward. Like I said, my goal is to get to a 400 or a 405 again. But that's not going to happen this year. There's no way. I'm not going to blast a gram of test to get there. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. But, if I can get to 350, 355, somewhere in that range, every day by the end of the year, I'll be happy. In fact, if I could do 345 6 days a week, is my daily minimum by the end of the year, I'll be happy. So yeah, I'm happy with the bench. It's coming along. Considering I started benching again late last year, and people are like, oh my God, you're starting with 225 again. You're so weak. Yeah, now I do 320 6 days a week for you guys on camera, and it's going to keep moving forward. It is what it is. I'm happy with it. Like I said, this was a little hard today. It felt heavy. It was definitely RPE 9. It wasn't an RPE 8. It wasn't an easy lift. Could I've hit a little more? Probably. But, it's a little bit of grind. It was a little tough. Felt kind of heavy. But I got it. Trap bar. We did volume with another 10 pounds today. My grip was really starting to become an issue, and that's one of the things I said on this. I'm doing these as a general hypertrophy tool, and part of it is the grip, because I got a trap bar. Trap bars are really awkward for me to grip anyways, the low handle. Those high handle that people use are a lot easier because the center of gravity is higher. These can tilt. And particularly, look how big around those bars are. Those are a lot thicker in diameter than a standard conventional barbell, right? An Olympic bar. So the bigger something is in diameter, the harder it is to grip. This is really going to work wonders for my grip strength. Coming in and doing multiple sets of these several times a week, it's going to work wonders for my grip strength. On the third work set of these, though, I started having problems finding the right angles, getting my footing right, my grip right. It was tilting back and forth again. Just when I thought I had it down, because this set and the one after, I'm like, yeah, man, I got this. I got this. This is easy. Then it starts tilting on me, and I'm like, maybe I don't got this. So I did 4 work sets today with the weight increase instead of 5, because I'm like, you know what, my grip is starting to give out a little, not so much giving out. On the third set, it was off a little, but my hands are hurting. And if my hands are hurting, and last time it really made my squatting hard the next day, I need to be very, very careful with the volume on this. I'm doing Bulgarian training. You got to watch that. I need to make sure my hips and everything have time to adapt. I got to make sure that this extra work I'm doing here doesn't interfere with the squat. The squat is the most important lift right now. And then behind that's going to be bench, the press, and then the chin up. All right, this other stuff's optional. I can use this to build my deadlift. I'm not worried about my deadlift. I get my squat back well over 500 again. I keep doing these trap bar pulls. My conventional deadlift will pop right back up. Always does. So, I'm not going to sacrifice my primary lifts for this accessory work. This stuff is here just to add a little volume. I'm doing trap bars. I'm doing dips. I'm doing pin leg rows. Just for the extra volume. Now people go, why don't you do the dips on camera? Because I'm doing them sporadically and because I'm not that strong, because I'm usually doing them after all this other pressing. My weight on them's not particularly impressive. No one's going to be impressed and be like, oh, he's doing dips with, 45 pounds for triples, It's nothing that impressive because I'm already fatigued from the other pressing. So they're just for volume. I might eventually start doing some on camera, just because if I need to fill the extra time in. But I'm doing them sporadically. I'm probably only doing them once a week, sometimes twice a week. Once or twice a week, just for some extra volume, get some extra chest and tricep volume in. And, they're just a good general mass builder. But the thing is, I don't want to allow this stuff to interfere with my main lifts, and that's the main thing. It's there to add a little extra muscle, to work on some weak points, make sure my grip stays strong, all that stuff, right? That's why we're doing it. And that's the thing that people need to keep sight of when you're doing this style of training. I've had several questions about that. When do you add extra volume of stuff in? You add it in when you can recover from it. When you can hit your daily minimums every day without fatigue, no matter what you do, you're okay. When you stop getting sore from doing daily minimums, then you can start tinkering with extra volume on other lifts once you're adapted to this type of training. But you need to watch that, because the question becomes, how much volume can you get away with? Well, that's going to depend on your recovery. How bad are your hips hurting? How bad are your front delts hurting? Those are the things you've got to ask. You've got to make sure you can adapt to any extra volume that you add. You've got to make sure it doesn't come at the expense of your primary lifts that you're doing the Bulgarian stuff with. And so for me, I only do a handful of other lifts outside of my main lifts, right? I don't do that much. And actually, I also do some power snatches a bit. I do a few right now. I started adding in just because they don't hurt my tendon. I've started doing even some curls as a compound movement. They are not even close to a strict curl. I'm doing ones like you guys would think of as a C.T. Fletcher did. When you saw him doing that with 135, I'm doing that type of curl. Because again, it does seem to work in certain strength circles, because again, it goes back to the point. Isolation movements don't increase strength that much, even in the target muscles. Compounds increase the strength more even in isolation. So if you can find a way to train the biceps that are a compound movement that's easy to recover from, that's going to carry over better than things like the chin-ups. Because I know my biceps are my weak link on my chin-ups. It's not my back, that's for sure. It's definitely not my back. And again, I need stronger biceps to chin more weight. I need better chin-ups to get more bicep size, all that stuff. So it ultimately just comes down to balancing it all, picking the right compound movements that you can recover from. But at the end of the day, you have to remember, any volume you add at the end, you have to be able to recover from it. And if it starts to interfere, for example, the weights start getting heavy on your primary lifts, do not decrease your daily minimums. You need to increase this back off volume. You need to decrease the other work first. This is an intensity first system. This is about hitting heavy singles on your primary lifts. That is the pinnacle upon which this is built. That's your paradigm, and everything else is optional and to facilitate that. So if it starts interfering, that's when you have to cut it out. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.